All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It's time to go racing from Las Vegas. Mark Nelson and Kevin Bruner have the front row. Mike Zakar, Jerry Bergeron on the second row. Gerald Thanos Poole and Kevin Hayes on the third. Gil Guac and Andrew Forrester on the fourth row. Thomas Byram and James Lacey round out the top 10. Danny Passmore starting in 11th next to John Saunders in 12th. Kenny Passmore starting in 13th. Timothy St. John in 14th. Mike Burgess in 15th. Les Bentz in 16th. And Stuart Wright rounding out the 17-car field here in Vegas. Stuart Wright does not take the grid. 16 cars. All the drivers stacked up behind the pace car here tonight. Again, there is a big question about the fuel mileage. A 60-lap race here. The drivers were saying 29 to 30 laps on a tank of fuel. Some of these drivers are going to have to conserve a little bit. The guys out front will use more fuel. The guys in the draft may not have to conserve anything. And in these cars at this track, it takes a long time for the pack to separate, so things will get interesting out here. Mark Nelson, his first race with the league on the pole in control. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away in Vegas. Mark gets a perfect launch into turn 1 and 2. Mike Zakar makes it into third. Bruner clears top 4, gets single file quickly, but a lot of battling back behind as Gerald Poole starts to try and make his way forward. But Kevin Hayes moves up into the top 5. Kevin, as we mentioned, the last several weeks has been on a tear, coming up through the points, taking second in points after New Hampshire. And what a wild race New Hampshire was last week. Thomas Byram now moving up into 8th. Danny Passmore up to 10th. John Saunders in 11th. James Lacey losing some spots here early, has dropped back to 13th. However, that could be a situation where Lacey is trying to conserve tires early here. Vegas is definitely not the hardest track on tires, but the tire fall off is pretty dramatic over the course of a long run. Gerald Poole so far has the fastest lap of the night. Andrew Forrester lost a little ground in the early going, now back into 10th, trying to reel in Danny Passmore just ahead in 9th. Passmore just set the fastest lap so far as he looks to the high side on Thomas Byram. Kevin Bruner starting to move to the high side, trying to get a run on the Mark Nelson. interesting note, I ran a truck race with these guys at Las Vegas over the winter. And this group, these drivers are tough to beat. But as we say week in and week out, this is the cleanest league on iRacing. They are extremely respectful, communicate extraordinarily well, and go out of their way to race each other clean. Gil Guac now on the move. Gil up into 6th place. Gil just got past Gerald, already looking under points leader Jerry Bergeron, trying to move into the top 5. Kevin Hayes, who is second in points, already up 2 spots into 4th place. More importantly, 2 spots ahead of the points leader. He has got to keep Bergeron behind him for the rest of the season if he has any hope of winning the title. So far, Mark Nelson in that Mobile Suit Gundam car has led every lap. And it looks like a lot of these drivers are being very conservative here in the early going. They know the tires are going to wear, but more importantly, they are watching that fuel window. They know how close it is going to be on fuel tonight. Nobody wants to make that dreaded splash and go stop. Gil Guac is definitely not being conservative. Gil now up into 4th as he tries to get by Kevin Hayes. Hayes up on the high side, Guac on the bottom. Hayes tries to hold on, but Guac has the momentum. Meanwhile, a little bit of battling going on back behind. Jerry Bergeron trying to hold on to 7th with Gerald Poole closing in. Thomas Byram, John Saunders on the high side starting to make some moves forward as well. Saunders just moved into the top 10. Mark Nelson continues to lead, but Bruner sits right on his bumper. Kevin Hayes, Mike Zakar, and Gil Guac right behind. Most of this field still within drafting range. The top 13 all within the same draft. Mike Burgess now a little bit over, or a little under a second behind James Lacey, but closing back in. Les Bentz and Timothy St. John are connected, trying to draft their way back up to that lead pack. And Kevin Bruner has taken the lead. Kevin Hayes on the high side goes for 2nd. Mark Nelson back to 3rd. And it is 3 wide down the front straightaway. Mike Zakar comes out ahead on that 3 wide situation, but man, it is getting close as they go off through 1 and 2. Bruner still has the lead, but not for long. Kevin Hayes is on the march. Les Bentz has had a problem, no caution. He is towed to pit road. Les coming down the back. Oh! Looks like he just got loose off turn 2. Managed to get it out of the racing line so he didn't draw the caution. Bruner managing to open up a small gap on Kevin Hayes for the moment. Points leader Jerry Bergeron continuing to drop here. Now back into 8th. This is exactly what Kevin and Kevin need out front. Bruner and Hayes both need Bergeron to drum back so they can close up that points gap. Meanwhile, Gil Guac, who had fought his way up into 4th, has now lost a little bit of ground here. He is now back in 6th as Danny Passmore in that 11 car up on the high side has made his way up to 5th after starting in 11th. Bruner and Hayes starting to pull away just a little bit from Mark Nelson and Mike Zakar. But on this long run, Danny Passmore is the one coming alive here. Points leader Jerry Bergeron is still right there, still part of this lead group. As Passmore slips up the track, Gil Guac now to 5th. Passmore loses several spots up on the high side. And Gerald Poole starting to look underneath. In the last couple of races, we have seen Gerald Thanos Poole picking up speed on the long run. Hey, good evening, Russell. Meanwhile, Kevin Hayes has gone by Bruner. He is in the lead. Kevin Bruner currently sitting in 2nd. Mark Nelson in 3rd. Mike Zakar 4th. Gil Guac in 5th. Gil managing to get back past Gerald, but Gerald up to 6th. Danny Passmore, Jerry Bergeron still 7th and 8th. Single file back behind. Thomas Byerman 9th. John Saunders in 10th. Mike Burgess back in 11 is closing back in on the main pack. Andrew Forrester back in 12th. James Lacey in 13th. Timothy St. John now to 14th. Kenny Passmore in 15th. And Les Bentz appears to be officially out of the race. So Les and Stuart Wright. Stuart did not grid, and Les, after hitting the wall out at turn 2, has retired. Jerry Bergeron starting to move forward now, up to 6th as he comes back past Gerald Poole. Right in the draft of Gil Guac at the moment. Gil trying to reel this lead pack back in. Meanwhile, Mike Zakar all over the bumper of 3rd place Mark Nelson. Kevin Bruner up in 2nd. Kevin Hayes in the lead. Here is a very Hey, good evening, Deanna. How are you? Here's a very interesting note as we close in on green flag stops here at Las Vegas. Looking through the field, we talk about how this is the cleanest league in iRacing. Nobody in the league has more than a quarter of an incident point per race. It don't get much cleaner than that, folks. Now the driver said lap 29 to lap 30, they would need fuel. They crossed the line to begin lap 28. Mark Nelson has come back past Kevin Bruner to reclaim second. Mike Zakar still lurks back and forth, and points leader Jerry Bergeron now up to fifth and closing in on the top four. Everybody coming by pit road, the pit road speed. Hey, Bobby, thank you for the stars, buddy. Nobody pitted on that last lap. The slower lap times may have given them an extra lap or two on fuel as Mark looks underneath Kevin Hayes to try and reclaim the lead. Mark Nelson back to the lead. Apparently Martin cheering him on is getting it done. Looks like, here we go, Kevin Hayes is headed in. Mark Nelson and Kevin Bruner, Jerry Bergeron stay out, but Gerald Poole, Gil Guac, Mike Burgess, Danny Passmore, and about 2/3 of the field are on pit road. The top five are Mark Nelson, Kevin Bruner, Jerry Bergeron, James Lacey, and Andrew Forrester, and they are coming in. Everybody is on pit road for their fuel stop. Everybody will be able to make it from here. They stretch the fuel to the limit. Looks like the drivers were losing about a second from their fastest lap to the final laps of that run. Kevin Hayes was the first to hit pit road, back out. Should reclaim the lead here. Mike Zakar, though, less than a second behind. Mark Nelson on his way out, though. Will he be able to hit the back stretch and get up to speed before Hayes gets there? Hayes comes out of 2. Kevin Hayes takes the lead. Here comes Mike Zakar up on the high side. Mark now back up to speed, but has Zakar with him. Gerald Poole now up into 4th. Kevin Bruner had a problem on pit road. He is now back in 9th. He was about 5 seconds slower on pit road than the rest of the field. Thomas Byram also had a problem, as did James Lacey. All 3 drivers roughly 5 seconds on pit road, longer than everybody else. Gil Guac now up into 5th place. Danny Passmore, though, back in 7th place, has the fastest lap of the night so far. However, these drivers are now out here knowing they're on their last set of tires. 25 laps to go. They're going to be pushing it. Danny Passmore's fast lap was exactly 30 seconds. Will anybody be able to beat it? Last time by, Mark Nelson did a 30.12. Mike Zakar a 30.13. They though are 1.5 seconds behind Kevin Hayes. They are closing the gap. Kevin Bruner sits back in 9th place, has lost a lot of ground, trying to reel in 8th place, Jerry Bergeron. Gerald Poole, who's now up into 4th, is 2.9 seconds behind Mike Zakar and Mark Nelson, excuse me. Gil Guac back in 5th is starting to reel in Gerald Poole. Kevin Bruner just set the fastest lap of the race. He is the first driver to break the 30-second mark tonight. 29.99. We mentioned Bruner lost about 5 seconds on pit road. He is trying like crazy to make it up on track. He has already closed up the gap on points leader Jerry Bergeron to less than a second. And Bruner currently just 3 seconds out of 5th, as Gil Guac is just 2.9 seconds ahead. Meanwhile, the last few laps, Kevin Hayes has extended his lead. It is now 1.6 seconds. Kevin already has 2 wins this season and trying to run down and take the championship. Could tonight be his 3rd? Mark Nelson, Mike Zakar still trying to reel him in, but Zakar has lost Mark Nelson's draft back in 3rd. And Gerald Poole is starting to close on Zakar. As is Gil Guac. Gil right on Gerald's back bumper. Mike Burgess, Danny Passmore, and Jerry Bergeron all right there as well. But Kevin Bruner continues his charge. Kevin was in the top 3 prior to pit stops, dropped back to 9th after the pit stops. Now a lot of ground to make up. He is full send trying to get it done. And after pit stops, Timothy St. John has just moved into the top 10. Tim started back in 14th, is now up into 10th. He was lurking back there around 13th for a long time, picking up some spots on pit road and is taking advantage. Thomas Byram and James Lacey also lost a ton of time on pit road. They have not been able to make up very much thus far. Kenny Passmore still lurking back there in 15th. Danny Passmore goes up to the high side. Points leader Jerry Bergeron is there. Meanwhile, Kevin Bruner's charge seems to have ended. He has lost some ground, now 2 seconds behind. Mark Nelson still trying to close the gap on Kevin Hayes. Mark about 1.25 seconds back. Mike Zakar sits in third, Gil Guac in fourth, Gerald Poole in fifth. And they are 3 wide battling now. Burgess shoots by right up by the wall. Mike Burgess up 9 spots now into 6th. Burgess has just been quietly sneaking through the field. Mike battling with points leader Jerry Bergeron. An impressive comeback as he finally clears Bergeron and takes 6th. Now sets his sights on 5th place Gerald Poole, just 1.1 seconds ahead. Meanwhile, Mark Nelson continues to reel in the leader. He is now just 1 second behind. But then the question becomes, Mark may be able to get there. Will he have enough to make the pass? I can guarantee you Mark will not use the bumper here for 2 reasons. A, Mark is not the kind of guy to use the bumper, and B, this league is based on everybody running clean and respectfully. Using the bumper for a last lap pass would likely get him kicked out. Mike Burgess is still on the attack. Now just 0.6 of a second behind Gerald Poole and Gil Guac. Gil got past Gerald a few laps ago to move back up into 4th. Remember, Gil missed the race last week at New Hampshire, lost a ton of spots in the points, is trying to make them all up in one go. Jerry Bergeron definitely wants to try and reel in this group ahead. Not let Kevin Hayes get too many points on him tonight. And Mike Burgess has caught Gerald Poole and Gil Guac. Meanwhile, Mark Nelson has caught the leader Kevin Hayes with 8 laps to go. Mark Nelson has 1 lap fresher tires than the leader. At some places, that 1 lap will make a big difference. Will it be enough here? Mike Burgess lurking all over Gerald's bumper, looking for a place to attack. Mark looks to the high side, headed towards turn 1. Can't get it done there, but does he get the slingshot? Does he have the run into 3? Hayes moves up the track to carry more momentum off 4. Nelson underneath. At the line is Mark Nelson in the lead. Still side by side through 1 and 2. Mike Zakar 6 seconds back. Unlikely, even with these two battling, that he's going to be able to run him down. At the line, it was Kevin Hayes. Just past the line, it was Mark Nelson. 4 to go. Mike Burgess still lurks back in 6. Has not been able to make a move on Gerald and Gill. Jerry Bergeron, meanwhile, is closing in as Burgess looks low under Thanos. It gets tight off turn 4, but Burgess pulls ahead. Mark is still side by side with Kevin Hayes. Kevin using that high line momentum to his advantage. Mark using the shorter distance and a little bit of a slingshot off the line. Mark Nelson led at the line that time, 2 to go. Back behind Mike Burgess, now trying to find his way around Gil Guac. Meanwhile, Mark Nelson has the nose ahead into 3. Can Kevin Hayes fight back like he has the last 2 times? He's going to slide to the bottom all the way to the apron. White flag in the air one more time around. Mike Zakar is going to pit lane unexpectedly. Mark Nelson has the lead down the back straightaway. And out of turn 4, Mark Nelson in his first race with Home Motorsports wins at Las Vegas. Kevin Hayes comes home in 2nd. Mike Burgess finishes in 3rd. And what a fight Burgess had. Biggest mover of the night, up 12 spots. At the moment, we don't have Mike Burgess available to talk to. Well, we do have our second and first place drivers, so let's get a word with second place, Kevin Hayes. Hey, Kevin is Doug in the booth. You got me?
I do. How are you?
I'm good, man. Quite a battle between you and Mark tonight, man. That was some great stuff.
Fun. I barely made it. I was out of gas at the line. He had 1 lap fresher tires, but they're still fun, man. I mean, I was doing everything I could to stay out in front, but that's good clean racing. He's a good clean racer. And again, another fun race here at Home Motorsports, and fun.
Oh, man, I got to say, it's going to be a huge points night as well. Jerry finishing back in 6. You're going to continue to close that gap.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, because coming up a couple tracks that I'm not really too great at. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's a fun race, fun Thursday night. And again, Mark, thanks for. I think you got Mark involved in the league. Thanks for getting him involved. He's a good, clean racer, just like everybody else here. And thanks for doing the broadcast.
My pleasure, buddy. Great job tonight.
Have a good one.
Mike Burgess is available who finished in third. Mike, man, that was the biggest surprise of the night because prior to that pit stop, you were kind of out of contention. Suddenly you came through the field like a madman.
Yeah, I was just taking it easy on the start, trying to save the front tires because they wear out really fast on this track with this setup. So I just bided my time and slowly worked my way up.
It definitely paid off in that last 10 laps, you battling with Gerald and Gil. It looked, I mean, you came running up on them like crazy, and then it looked like you stalled, and then there comes the lap, you go flying by Gerald. A couple laps later, you go flying by Gil. It was crazy how much more speed you had late in the race.
Yeah, it was just key of saving the tires, right? So you had better tires towards the end, so you could push a little harder. When I caught those guys, I knew I was faster, but I didn't know how I was going to get around them. And then the opportunities opened up, and I jumped on them when I could, and it paid off.
It definitely did, man. Great run, up 12 spots tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh, we definitely did. Finally, our winner, the Mark Nelson. Mark, your first race in the league, you take the pole, you take the win in pretty dominant fashion. Mark, you set up push to talk before the race, buddy.
Oh, I thought my headset was broken again. Thanks, Doug, for the reminder. Okay, well, to answer your question, yes. I didn't know how I would stack up against these guys, and just lucky I was able to start first and finish first because some of these guys in this league, boy, they're tough. Kevin Haas, whew, I didn't think I was going to catch him. That guy was on rails for most of that race.
He definitely was, but you had one heck of a run when you ran him down, and that side-by-side battle for multiple laps was just really impressive. It was hard to tell. One lap, you'd be ahead at the line. The next lap, he would be ahead at the line.
Yeah, I was not really sure where he was going through the corners and coming out of the corners. I didn't want to hit him, and I'm not used to the sides of these cars anymore, and I was just trying to be on my best behavior. I didn't want to hit him, so I was just trying to race him super clean, and it worked out.
It definitely did, and man, I have to tell you, Martin was cheering you on the whole time, and it being his birthday, I'm guessing that was his birthday gift from you tonight.
Well, happy birthday. I'm happy to oblige.
And great paint job, by the way. I did notice it was a Gundam paint job.
Yeah, thank you very much. Looking forward to sporting it a few more, but I guess I better get to my next gig, eh? They're waiting for me.
Yep, I will see you here shortly, buddy.
See you, Doug.
Mark Nelson gets the win, folks. Don't go far. We will be back with the HTSAI Community Convoy. Angie already has the convoy up and running. Everybody who plays ATS, you're welcome to join. Man, what a race we had at Vegas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Have a great night, everybody.